It was a moan, it was a moan.
Murder, executions and the apparition of a wounded soldier. We investigate the ghosts of Leith Hall.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This week we've brought you to Aberdeenshire in Scotland, to a place that's steeped in history and where the ghosts of past residents are still said to roam. Who knows what lies behind the doors of Leith Hall?
James Leith built Leith Hall in 1650 on land bought by his father. For 300 years this beautiful home was passed from father to child. This made sure the hall always stayed in the family. However, in 1939 the wheel of fortune turned full circle. The last two lairds, father and son, died within 4 months of each other. Mrs. Henrietta Leithhay, the last laird's mother, gave the hall to the National Trust, complete with its memories and ghosts.
It's got an incredible history going back to the middle of the 17th century. Many generals that lived here, big connections with Bonnie Prince Charlie, because this was a big military family. There's reported sightings of more than one ghost, and possibly why this place is so haunted. This was actually used as a hospital during the First World War. So how many people were brought here, severely wounded, and of course died in this very building?
Heavily booted footsteps have been heard on this staircase. Also, the phantom of a man wearing bandages around his head has been seen and heard moaning as if in great pain. Could this phantom be the murdered John Leith, who was shot in the head?
A gentleman, one of the Leith family, was shot in Aberdeen after a dispute. Someone was arguing with him in a pub about the quality of grain that was created here at Leith Hall. This gentleman was shot in the head and died 3 days later. We believe here at the hall, in the old part of the hall, the north side, his bedroom's still preserved, and he's been seen wandering around various parts of the hall, including the staircase, but he's always got a bandaged head and blood dripping from it.
This is the old pool room, with grey mists and eerie music, along with the spectral image of a white lady. Could this possibly be one of the most haunted rooms at Leith Hall? We have 24 hours to find out.
John Leith, who of course was shot and died probably in this house, had a very heroic wife, Harriet. She had to take on the estate and run it all on her own and bring up her children, again, all on her own. She loved this place, and they believe that's one of the reasons why she still comes back and haunts it.
Could this bedroom have once been a nursery? The cries and voices of children are often heard, but they're never seen. Who were they, and why do people still hear them?
I can remember it quite clearly. It was a June night, beautiful, beautiful evening, and I went across and picked the flowers, took them in the house, and I walked down the corridor, opened the Leith bedroom door, went in about 4 or 5 paces, and I was in the middle of a children's party. There was giggles and squeaks. And then I went cold, and I shot through the door right the way around the house and down back to the kitchen, and just sat down, still holding the flowers.
The very first time I ever came here and I crossed through the gates, I was aware of a great melancholy that hangs over the place. And there are definitely certain areas at the top of the house that I would not like to go into. Even in daylight, I don't like going into them. I would not spend a night in Leith Hall on my own.
As always, our paranormal investigator, Phil Wyman, had conducted the baseline test prior to the rest of the crew's arrival. Phil was paying particular attention to the staircase, where many people had experienced the presence and seen the image of a distraught-looking man holding his head. By placing motion detectors and a locked-off night vision camera on the stairs, he could monitor this particular area closely. The crew and I felt that not only did we have to investigate the interior of the hall, but we had to venture outside as well, as we knew from historical records that the grounds played an important part in the hall's history.
We also have a very special tree here, just over on the right-hand side. It's a hanging tree. It's actually known as a dual tree, D-U-L-E. And in the olden days, of course, the laird, the chief of the clan, had supreme power of life and death. And courts were held at that very special tree. You could be tried, sentenced, fined, imprisoned, or hanged from that very tree. So it'd be rather nice tonight if someone was to do a vigil, perhaps sitting under that very tree.
We decided to begin our investigation outside because we wanted to know more about the famous tree. Would medium Derek Okora be able to give us an insight into the hall, its past residents, and most importantly, the ghosts?
Isn't this beautiful?
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Now we're just going to follow you.
Okay. Now, I want to go in the direction, keep going in this direction, and I just feel as if the residual energy will give us that, like, spiritual pointer. It's like, look, like my hand does that.
Yeah.
And that's like an indication through this energy to go in this direction along this path.
Down here?
Yes.
When you say you get pulled sometimes
Yes.
to go in a direction, is it a voice you hear, or is it just a feeling?
No, it's basically feelings, that residual energy. Because I'm open as an instrument, as a medium, it's like a pulling
Right.
in a direction. And, it's like as if, do I go this way? No. And yet I go here. Oh, gosh. And as, I link at this tree here, and, right, I want to say that there have been people who have actually been stretched, have been hung from this tree. That's because the energies of people who are, like, unhappy, their energies, their joint energies are here. So I've got to take it, this is, I know it sounds a very crude word, but, like, I feel it's a killing tree, okay? What is this? You see, I'm getting the energies from here to here. And I feel there have been many, many souls have been strung, lost their lives through some form of justice. Say that again, Sam. I use the word, not the Lord, the laird.
Right.
The laird meted his punishment out by stretching them up from the tree. The laird.
So the laird, what you say?
The laird of this land.
Yeah,
He meted his justice out in a manner that, in simple terms, strung people up from a tree. In justice for their wrongdoing.
So, what, he killed them?
Yeah. And quite a lot of lives have been taken this way here. Oh, look at that. These conditions here, along here, and getting trapping of soldiers. It's like they're up and down, up and down. That main stretch here.
What sort of soldiers? Can you see what they're wearing, or...?
I'm just picking at the ends as we get a bit closer.
Yeah. You know when we were talking about the laird and
Yes.
the killing tree, and he strung them up?
Yes.
Are you saying that it's something that he did deliberately, maliciously, or is it something that he did because he had to do it?
He did it because he had to do it.
Right.
it wasn't maliciously, he had to do it. And that was the justice, the meeting out of the justice for these people. And many, many were strung. Many. For some reason, the residual energy goes from that area and only comes as far as here for some reason and stops.
Right.
It doesn't go left, it doesn't go right, and it doesn't go forward. But it's like the energy is up and down for some reason. And we're talking about not just one particular soldier or energies, we're talking about a group of them. And I'd be very, very shocked and surprised if these were in daylight. And I feel that these souls, at times, or the energy, would have emanated a number of times, and anyone who maybe be walking in this area with a dog or something would get a glimpse of seeing it, and like a flash. And that's the build-up of the energies.
What period? I know you're saying you could possibly have a closer look or get a feel for what period of soldier, what time?
I feel this is round... Come on, Sam, you must help me with this. 1657 to 1660.
Right.
1657 to 1660. Thank you, Sam. Yes. And of course, the colonel, they were in allegiance with the colonel. They were in allegiance with Colonel Leith. Hey. Colonel Leith. Hey. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Leith. Hey.
Richard, is there any connection with soldiers?
There would be. I mean, this place was built in 1650, and the laird, the clan chief, controlled the whole area, and all of the people that lived round here owed him allegiance. And in time of war, and there was much inter-fighting between the clans, soldiers would march up here and would be rallied here to the clan chief, and then they'd go off to war.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, when I say funny, it's like their energies would be seen, be heard as well from that pointer, and no further than here for some reason. And we're talking about, you know, littered with these soldiers. So that, and for some reason, I can't, at this moment, figure out why.
It would just stop
They
here.
would just stop here. There must have been a reason.
Well, I wonder if there was some sort of building, or kind of, apart from there, maybe some outbuildings, maybe that...
It is highly likely. Or it may be the fact that, and I don't know this, that they were not actually allowed... We're talking of the common folk, perhaps were not allowed up to the house.
Maybe so.
And stop near to the house, possibly.
Do you know if there was an outer wall to this building when it was first?
I doubt it. I very much doubt it, because by those days they'd stopped building castles with walls. It wasn't a castle, it was a sort of a home. And I don't think it would be fortified either. I'll be honest with you, I don't think so. But I just think they would not come to the house.
Right. So that may be why you're getting a stop
stopped
there.
here, yeah. But immediately my attention was drawn to the energy that was just coming from the ground of that memory of the energy of these soldiers. And, you know, oh, yes, all right, Sam. Can we go back to the building?
Yeah.
Because we're getting called in.
Oh, are we?
Yes, and that's not residual.
Who's calling?
He firmly belongs, he's calling himself John. John. Someone called John.
Right.
And his energies, right now, not residual energies, are apparent in that building.
Let's go there.
Let's see what, oh, yes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, whoa, thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
With so much information coming to light, we were keen to go inside, and hopefully John, whoever he was, would be able to communicate through Derek. Leith Hall has a very regular visitor. Many people have reported the ghostly image of an injured man on the stairs. People have speculated about who this man could have been, but hopefully Derek would be able to confirm his identity.
We can just go up these steps here, because as we put our feet here, it's like us three here retracing steps of the residual energy. Where you're standing here now, energies that develop here are not just the residual energies. These energies that are placed here at times, that is in visitation of a spirit person who's coming into this home maybe as regularly as he likes. And, you know, in mind, this energy takes me away from this building. Does ever want to go away? Down that path, that long path. And I feel as if this soul could have at times been recognised where you're standing here and looking down. And maybe being seen through either the corner of a person's eye in a split of a second, and then his energy would just like disperse. And, oh, forgive me. Okay. I want to, and it's only like symbolically, hold my head like this in memory with the soul. And, he's taken me now, thank you, away from this home in thought. And I seem to be, I'm listening in this area of a lot of males, a lot of men talking. There's a very loud. And there was a here, his head. This John. Is this John? John? A wound to his head. It's like as if, why they're putting this bandage around my head, wrapping this bandage around, is there a wound to his head. And he was not murdered. He was not murdered. And with the firing of a gun or something, yes, it was bullets, and he was in the way. It wasn't meant for him. It was not murder. John Leith. John Leith, he's informing. John, his name. John Leith.
Right.
There's another man that comes here. Okay, in visitation. Is he further up? Okay, can we go further up, Evie?
What?
Okay, running through here, from this section here, I'm very aware of 5 or 6 little children. And it's like as if they're running through, and would have all different ages, and their energy is absolutely beautiful. They bless the children's memory and residual energy. Bless this home, okay? Absolutely. And, you know, it's like as if they're up here, they come in because they want to play. Oh, they want to play. Why am I being transported and this changing here now, Sam? It's like suddenly I'm in it's like being in a hospital. And people are being looked after and treated. Here. Take me away from that energy, Sam. Let me go link back with the little girls and the boys. Yes. They play with things up here. They play with little items.
Who were they?
What are they, Sam? Who? There's a link. I don't know what this means. Christina Hamilton. Christina Hamilton. And something to do, or a link with the children. Also from these energies in this area of the bed, I got a person, a lady, whose hair was white. I get this from my hips down. I get my legs to be not in use properly, and are lying propped to the conditions here. That's Mary. Is that Mary? Mary Leith.
Right.
Mary Leith. Leith again. Oh, the energy. Can we just go through back there again? That's the energy. See the toys?
Oh, yeah.
Look at the toys, the dollies. That's why
Oh,
they're
look.
drawn.
Look at the pictures.
Yes.
Could it be them?
Yes, but there's actually 4 of them in all. There's 3 girls. I feel 2 of them are in that photograph. Another little girl and a boy. And I feel the boy being the youngest.
Who were the children, and why did they pass over so young?
I feel that their energies, again, would come in visitation. They're not grounded here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a James comes here as well.
Mm-hmm.
James Leith. James Leith.
Right.
Ooh. Now, thank you, Sam. James Leith would, the only way I can say about James is he would look upon things of this and say, this, I'm taking his words now,
Mm-hmm.
all this belongs to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
As if he'd scour the atmosphere with his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Because of me.
Mm-hmm.
In a proud way.
Yeah.
Again, a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
There's no negativity that I, up to now in this investigation, have I come across.
Nothing.
There's
So
love and there's
nice.
goodness.
Whilst Derek continued to walk through the rest of the house, Richard Felix and Carl the director ventured outside to have a look at the hanging tree using our night vision cameras.
It is very dark. It's probably the darkest I think I've ever encountered, because it's misty as well. It really adds to the ambience of it. It is so dark, isn't it? Yeah. Where would you have thought that they would have hung people from? I mean, it had to be quite high, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've already looked, and I think there's 2 boughs. You see, basically, it was the convenient bough of a tree. This was long before gallows were established, which was like a football goal. It was any stout tree with a branch sticking out, and there's one here. I looked at it earlier, and this is absolutely perfect. I think this is the one. But I've no idea why I think this, apart from the fact that it's the correct shape, it sticks out to here. You've got quite a mound here, so you can't stand them high. But you must remember that often what they would do is just throw the rope over the bough, bring it down here, tie it around the neck, and haul them up.
Oh, so they wouldn't break the neck, those strands?
Oh no, there was no breaking of the neck until after 1870.
I recall a long time ago someone saying that about people being hung, that if someone really loved you, they would hang off your legs.
Correct.
Would that be because that would be a quicker death?
It increases your body weight, tightens the rope, and brings about
So that would have actually
unconsciousness.
happened?
That happened. That's where the saying, pull the other leg, comes from. I know what people would have suffered here, underneath the boughs of this tree.
Now, as we've entered this, again, another lovely room, now I'm looking at the panelling here. I'm drawn to the panelling. I'm also drawn to the ceiling here, which is also wood panelling. And, you know, you may laugh at this, Iffy and Phil, but as I'm looking, it looks very pretty and decorative, doesn't it? But it would be even fitting, some of this panelling in the likes of, you know, a church or churches.
Funny enough, the panelling here is made from church pews and cabinets.
Because I felt as if I wanted it, you know, in like prayer, and the residual energy is still contained in this panelling. But more than anything, this person here, depicted in this portrait, this better belongs over 12,000 miles away. Because I feel something to do with Australia Fair. It's like as if this is a person who I feel would have travelled a long distance, and the only way it makes me as energy, the residual energy makes me feel as if I want to claim something. That's mine. Now, I don't know what that means in connection with this building.
Does that picture come from Australia?
That man in the picture, I believe, is Australian, and he came to have hold of the hall through a relative of his.
So he's claimed it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the link. This is why Australia was woeing out at me. And it's still around me now at the moment.
Would you know who he was?
At this moment in time, I'm not getting like a name, but maybe as we're going along, maybe that will be, you know, they're giving it to me in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
But hopefully we should be able to link in.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Where else do we want to go?
Can we go through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, here we go. We'll sit on the tree. I hope it's as big as it is.
Do you want a torch?
Nah, fine. I can fall over on my own.
Go on.
You sure you're safe?
Yeah, he's got it now. Yeah, so we reckon this was probably what it was, Richard?
Yeah, I think so. It's the only one that I can see that's the right sort of shape, that's sort of almost sticking out at right angles. And I bet there would have been rope marks on it.
Good grief.
What?
I reckon you're 100% correct.
You're joking.
No, I hope... There is bark here,
Yes?
as you can see.
Yes?
I mean, although it's old, it's... You can see where bark has been. Here.
Yeah.
Here it's smooth.
Oh.
And there's like a...
Oh.
There's a ridge. Like a ridge here.
Right.
Up there. A ridge here. But that's all round.
So there are areas where ropes would have been.
I would say definitely, Richard.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
How old is it though? Because
Oh, I mean, this is indented into the
right.
into the tree. You can't see any. There's no specific rope marks, but
No,
there's
there wouldn't be
two
now, 'cause it'd be too long
there's two
ago.
big indents
Because
where, and there's no moss on that bit either. There's moss all over the place, but there's no moss growing on that piece.
Oh yeah.
And that is just here.
Can you smell the fragrance? It's like surgical spirit. And this fragrance of, you know, when... It's wartime coming way forward. And I feel as if men with their wounds are being tended to. There's a to and throwing of going up the corridors, of ladies of nursing and doctors and bloodstained conditions, and the smell of that surgical spirit. And I feel operations have taken place here at some time, and a lot of passings.
Right.
But they were, again, this is a house of love. They were cared for, and the best that they could do for them.
Is there any way you can give us a date or a time when this could have been?
That could have, I hope, you know, I might be getting this wrong, but that could be something like around the time of World War One.
Right.
Of that time.
Yeah.
I feel here.
Yeah.
And I feel that some of these souls who were being operated on, blood was flowing. Okay.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. It was flowing. I used to use the buckets to the side to let the blood until they could be either, you know, stitched or the bullets or something taken from their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a little bit barbaric to our day and age now, but I feel that's the mental imagery, the pictures that the residual energy is placing in the forefront of my mind here.
The time had come for the crew to split up into smaller groups so we could cover the majority of the house. Phil Wyman and one of our cameramen, John, had decided to investigate the Leith bedroom, and Kath, Victoria and myself had opted to take a stroll down the upper corridors. Would any of us come across anything paranormal at Leith Hall? Kath, Victoria and myself are finding the old corridors a little scary. Phil Wyman and John had decided to investigate the Leith bedroom, where the sounds of children playing have been heard many times.
That's where the nursery part is at the moment now.
Right.
So if we open that door, can you hear anything coming from there?
Okay.
You're joking.
I'm not going to go in there. I'll leave this door. That obviously wasn't meant to be.
God, the light plays tricks on your eyes. There was that horrible corridor with the dark. What was that? Did you hear that? Tell me what you hear.
It's like floorboards moving.
Something's down this corridor.
It's me, sorry. It's freezing.
Oh my God, how cold is it? It's like icy.
It's getting cold.
Oh my God, how cold is that? Oh, shh.
It's like somebody going. Shh, shh.
What's to the left?
Stairs, stairwell.
Do you think it's the boys? Yeah, it could be. What the hell? Stairs.
It's really cold here.
If there's anyone in here, there's any residual energy, any spirits, any sign of two children that have been heard playing here, Phil and I are here to make your acquaintance. We mean you no harm. Cliche though it is, we mean you no harm anyway. We're just interested to experience any sign, experience your presence. Something.
Is that you?
What?
Moving there.
No, there was like a shard of light. I don't know if it was passing this camera over, but I saw a sheet of light go that way, and I think it
Which
might.
way?
This way.
Alright.
Hang on, let me try that again. I don't know, I don't think it was. You're not going to see it go through the torch.
Okay. Oh, no, this is the horrible corridor. This corridor here is very active, apparently. Jesus, how cold is that?
Can you smell it? It's like... That was the door. Them doors were already closed. There wasn't a door open.
God, it's freezing, isn't it?
It's extremely quiet in here. I know a lot of places we go to, it's always very quiet, it's always very cold. There's two characteristics of the places we go to.
A lot of the places that we go to are sort of seem to be unnaturally quiet. No, Jesus Christ.
What? What?
That's why I saw a light.
Yeah, what kind of light did you see?
It's like a flash coming from here. This area here. If I just shine a torch.
Don't shine.
Just there. That area.
There, right, okay,
Yeah.
fine. It could have been. When you said that, I quickly flipped it round. Could it have been that?
No. No.
Okay, hang on,
Sure.
we'll try again. Could it have been that?
No.
That's if I'm shining it right there.
No, it wasn't that. It was a flash.
Right, okay.
Flash.
Right, that's something I wish. Something I really wish I had on camera.
Yeah. My hair stood on end.
Each group spent a decent amount of time in various rooms throughout the hall. Even though strange lights were seen and doors seemed to be opening on their own, nothing was caught on camera. After a short break, we decided to regroup and carry on with the investigation. Rick, Craig and Stuart, our rigger, had opted to investigate the music room. This was a room where many different ghost sightings had been witnessed and strange voices and piano music had been heard. We were all surprised when one member of the crew decided to face their fear and go into the grounds on their own with a night vision camera. Kath, our makeup lady, made her way towards the hanging tree.
Oh God, we're stupid. I think it's the worst part of it is that you can't see a damn thing.
Like, it sounds like there's things around me. I'm sure I can see things moving.
You at the tree yet?
I can't see a damn thing.
If you look through the viewfinder, you can sort of see yourself, you see where you're walking.
God. This is just awful. Am I stupid? I'm stupid doing this. I know I am. There's loads and loads and loads of strange noises happening around this tree. Maybe it's animals. Yeah, maybe it's animals. God, I can't go any further.
I just don't like this place at all. Something about it makes me want to vomit, makes me want to be sick.
Bloody airy room.
This is freaking me out in this room.
Why?
This is, I just don't like it, I want to go.
Well, you're not going.
I don't like this room at all. Nothing will probably happen, but it's just your mind plays tricks on you when you're in somewhere as dark as this, and as eerie, and it's quiet. There's this, I mean, you've already... What's that noise?
Hear that?
Yeah, like a rumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we go?
No. We're here for an hour, mate.
No, we're not. I'm not staying here for an hour.
You are.
No way.
Can I do that? Mate, you went in the cellar on your own.
I don't know, it just feels different from being outside earlier. Have you seen it outside? It's how dark it is and how misty it is out there. And then you come and walk inside, it's even worse.
It is quite
You
freaky.
could all get bludgeoned to death and no one would know. What was that noise?
Sound like a scratching noise.
Sounds like it was coming
Well,
from behind
it's
the
also
panel.
kind of like
Please.
floorboards.
Hold on a sec. Shh. Shh. Sarah again. Shh. Just be quiet, just so we can pick it up. Okay. Flash the camera over there.
Oh.
Yeah, shit.
No, I'm not.
Let me check outside. I don't think anyone will be here. Mate, they're all there. Oh, fuck! Go! Yeah, careful, Craig.
What was that then? Let me have a look, stay there. Hang on. There's no one there. Hang on, let me just...
Wait.
That's in there thing you can't do in there. They're locked.
Oh, fucking hell.
There's no one out there. There's no one out there at all.
Okay, I'm now fully shitting myself.
It did seem strange that the sound of a door banging had been heard in the same section of the house during 2 different vigils.
I don't think anyone will be here. Mate, they're all there.
It was decided that we should spend some more time in the music room. We also tried to conduct an automatic handwriting experiment. This is where an entity from another realm brings messages through by using a writing implement or any other means of communicating through the written word. A few squiggly lines later, nothing of huge significance showed up on paper, but it wasn't long until something spooked us.
It's so cold.
was that?
Did you hear that?
There were voices there.
Oh my God.
Voices.
Like a moan?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
moan?
Where? Down that end? Where?
To the right, over there. It was like a... ooh.
Just so he was coming over here.
Oh my God, it was a moan, it was a moan.
Yeah. There, are you picking anything?
It was a
up?
moan.
No.
Did you not hear that?
What was it?
Did you hear that?
No.
Did you hear that?
No.
You're right.
What?
I didn't hear no. What was it?
Jesus Christ!
Did you hear that?
Very infectious.
No, in all sincerity and what have you, we seem to be agitating.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think what we should do is leave the room.
No.
And it's just chilled here. If you stay in, you're probably going to get whoever it is. His energy is here.
Well, we don't mean any harm.
No, I know.
We should stay, Derek.
Okay,
Just be
if
nice
you
and
wish.
calm.
According to Rick, he had heard a hissing noise next to him, and our soundman Tom had felt a presence close by. We have tried to find a logical explanation as to what caused the pandemonium, but have failed. To this day, we do not understand what we experienced in the music room. At least during this experience, we were all together and not alone.
I can't do it.
Well, when I first came to Leith Hall, I thought it was a really fantastic place. It looked really good from the outside. Inside, it's full of original furniture, which adds to the atmosphere.
It was quite an exciting night. Things happened. I was absolutely terrified upstairs. Fear tends to spread through people, and once Yvette started, I lost it as well.
My investigation here at Leith Hall has been quite exciting because during the investigation I managed to keep in contact with at least 3 individual spirit people. To add to that, I got the pleasure of linking in with the lovely children on the top floor.
Now, when it came to doing the vigil, I really enjoyed this one. The music room seemed to produce some of the weirdest occurrences. I'm not sure if it's paranormal or not, but it was interesting nonetheless.
We went off to the hanging tree, and Carl climbed up and actually found grooves, scars from the actual ropes that had been attached to the bough of the tree, I think proving that that was a real hanging tree, and that was quite something.
I feel that these spirit people who have loved this home, I've had experience, all tried very hard this evening in this investigation to prove to all of us that they are still around and kicking.
It's been an absolute privilege to come to a place like this. Really enjoyed it.
This investigation, I think we learn a lot about how the different crew members are becoming a little bit more confident and sometimes a little bit more sceptical in their investigations. A good example perhaps is looking at Kath. Now Kath normally would be extremely frightened when she goes on these investigations, and on this particular case she actually decides to go out on her own to visit the tree where apparently hangings took place. Of course we see her being a little bit frightened there, but in the past she wouldn't have even thought of going there on her own. So again, we can see that she's becoming a little bit more confident and a little bit more adventurous in the way she's going about these investigations. Another example might be Phil and John in the nursery. Both of them see this flash of light, but rather than quickly jumping to the idea that maybe it's a ghost, maybe it's an orb, then they think, okay, well, what could have caused that? And particularly John decides to experiment with the camera to see if that could actually cause the light that they're seeing. So again, it suggests that the crew are trying to become a little bit more experimental in coming up with other explanations for the phenomena they're observing. So in general terms, I think we are seeing different members of the crew becoming a little bit more confident in the way in which they go about the investigation. Perhaps an exception to that is when Rick, Craig and Stuart are in the room and they hear a bang behind the door. And even before they've heard this bang, they're very worried, they're very frightened, they don't really want to be there. And as soon as they hear the bump, people are screaming, particularly Rick, very, very frightened by it. So again here, perhaps for some of the crew, they're actually becoming more frightened each investigation they go on.
Well, that was certainly worth investigating. I don't think myself or any other member of our Most Haunted crew will forget our night at Leith Hall. Until the next time, sleep tight.
Rick's in my arms watching my torch on like that, and he's like...
I can't see that thing. I'll probably fall over first.